It all started when my dad casually mentioned while giving a scholarship to a student, "How coincidental, you and my daughter were born on the same day, even at the same time." This led the scholarship student to imagine herself as the rightful heiress who had been switched at birth. To set things right, the student righteously declared, "You usurper, I'm going to sell you off as punishment." I found it all absurd but still tried to explain patiently. However, the scholarship student thought I was just being stubborn and got violent with me. I turned to my fiancé for help, but he scoffed, "I always knew you weren't the rightful heiress. You stole someone else's life, and you should pay the price." To make me pay, the scholarship student ordered her thugs to abuse me. Just when the thugs were about to strip me naked and do unspeakable things, my dad finally arrived. When Tiffany Bloom inexplicably showed up at the door of my study with two shady-looking men, I was doing a group project with my fiancé, Ethan Carter. The somewhat amorous atmosphere was instantly shattered by her words. She would occasionally come to my place to ask for help with her homework, but this was the first time she had brought strangers with her. I was a little annoyed, but more confused. I couldn't help but ask, "What are you talking about? What rightful and fake heiress? Could Tiffany Bloom be driven mad by the pressure of college?" But my reaction was clearly not what Tiffany Bloom wanted. She sneered, "Abigail Abby Smith, stop pretending. I know everything. You're not the Smith family's rightful heiress at all. I am. We were born on the same day, so your mom must have switched us after giving birth to you to give you a better life." I was amused by her ridiculous words, but Tiffany Bloom thought I was mocking her. She became even angrier and slammed her hand on the table. "I suffered for so many years in the rural area because of you. Luckily, heaven has eyes and allowed me to RN here. I'm here to confront you. You can either get out of my place, or if you try to play the fake heiress game like in those novels, I wouldn't mind killing you right now. Anyway, my dad is so good to you, impostor. He'll definitely be even better to me, the rightful heiress, so even if I kill you, I don't have to worry about anything." After she said all that, I was stunned. Tiffany Bloom looked greedily at the mansion and continued, "Everything you have should be mine, your mansion, luxury cars, and designer jewelry, even your boyfriend, Ethan Carter, should be mine." Ethan Carter scratched his head awkwardly, but didn't deny that he wasn't my boyfriend. My relationship with Tiffany Bloom was, in my opinion, very simple. She was just one of the many students my family gave a scholarship to. If there was anything special about her, it was that she happened to be in the same school as me, and even more coincidentally, we shared the same birth date, even the exact time. But it was precisely because of this that my doting father thought she was special. He funded the scholarship for her, even though her grades weren't that great, and even arranged for Tiffany Bloom's uneducated and unemployed father, Hank Bloom, to work in our estate as a gardener. He even allowed Tiffany Bloom and Hank Bloom to meet often. It seemed that my dad was too kind to the Bloom family, which made the novel-loving Tiffany Bloom come up with such a ridiculous idea. I sighed, trying to suppress my anger, and said in a calm tone, "Tiffany Bloom, you've misunderstood. I am my parents' only child. Although we happen to share the same birth date, you were born in a mountain town, and I was born at home. It's impossible for us to have been switched." I wasn't lying. My parents tried for many years before they had me, and they took it very seriously. When I was about to be born, there was a flu outbreak. My dad was worried that my mom and I would get infected in the hospital, so he prepared Eddie Cal team and practically moved the birthing center to our home. So, I was born at home, and I didn't go out until a few months later when the flu was over. How could I have been switched? Seeing that Tiffany Bloom didn't react, I continued, "I don't know why you have such thoughts, but your behavior makes me very unhappy. Please leave immediately and don't come back." As soon as I finished speaking, Tiffany Bloom's face turned green with anger. She raised her hand and slapped me hard across the face. Bitch, how dare you talk nonsense? The slap was extremely heavy. My right cheek immediately swelled up, and my head started buzzing. Ethan Carter was startled and stood in front of me, frowning. Tiffany Bloom, are you crazy? I felt incredibly wronged. My dad was a daddy's girl. I had never heard a harsh word, let alone been hit. I didn't care whether Tiffany Bloom was really crazy or pretending. I immediately shouted for the butler, thinking of immediately kicking Tiffany Bloom out and firing Hank Bloom as well. But the butler didn't come, Hank Bloom did. Hank Bloom looked at the situation and chuckled. Looking for the butler? I already tricked him away. Then he clicked his tongue and said to the two thugs, "Are you guys made of wood? Don't you know to confiscate the phones? What if she calls the police?" The thugs nodded stupidly, took the phones that Ethan Carter and I had placed aside, and threw them out the window. I finally understood why Tiffany Bloom was able to bring people into the mansion so brazenly. It turned out Hank Bloom was helping. Ethan Carter stood next to me, his voice firm. "Tiffany Bloom, what you and your dad are doing is illegal. If you don't leave, I can't help you." I vaguely sensed that Ethan Carter and Tiffany Bloom seemed to have some kind of relationship, but now wasn't the time to worry about that. I was furious and stood up, pointing at Hank Bloom. "Your daughter is crazy. Are you crazy too? My dad has been so good to you, is how you repay him? Get out." Before I could finish speaking, Hank Bloom's expression changed, and he kicked me. "Damn it, I'm your real father, and you treat me like this? I'll teach you a lesson." I didn't even have a chance to react. I just felt a pain in my stomach, and my body went light. I almost flew out. Seeing that I couldn't get up for a long time, Hank Bloom smiled triumphantly. "Did you think Miss Bloom and I would cause trouble without any evidence? I'm telling you, I have proof that you're the impostor, so we dared to come here." I couldn't speak. I wanted to tug at Ethan Carter next to me, but Ethan Carter ignored me and frowned. "What proof? Show it to us." Hank Bloom took a piece of paper from his pocket and threw it on the ground. "Take a look yourselves. This is my proof." I struggled to sit up and picked up the paper on the ground. I realized it was a paternity test, but the test subjects weren't me or my dad. It was Tiffany Bloom and Hank Bloom. The paternity test showed that Tiffany Bloom and Hank Bloom were not related. Tiffany Bloom sat down on the sofa where I had just been sitting and sneered. "Do you understand now? I already found it strange when Mr. Smith first gave me a scholarship. Why would he give a scholarship to me, who wasn't a very good student? And why would he let Hank Bloom work as a gardener at the Smith family estate, and even allow me to visit often, and smile at me every time he saw me? It's funny to say." Hank Bloom smiled. "At first, I thought Mr. Smith was interested in Tiffany Bloom and was planning to let Tiffany Bloom become your stepmother." Speaking of this, Tiffany Bloom was a little embarrassed. Luckily, I didn't offer myself to him, because I suddenly remembered that when I first met Mr. Smith, he specifically said to me that you and my daughter were born on the same day. Thinking of this, I instantly realized I am Mr. Smith's biological daughter. That's why he thinks highly of me and is so good to. Oh me. But Mr. Smith is too kind. He couldn't bear to kick you, that bitch, out, so he chose to maintain the status quo for the time being. But as Mr. Smith's daughter, of course I have to help him solve this problem. At this point, Tiffany Bloom's expression became very frightening. She stared straight at me. "Abigail Abby Smith, everything in this world has a price. You've enjoyed so much happiness for so many years. Do you think I'll let you go without paying a price?" The two thugs behind her looked at me with lecherous eyes and said to Hank Bloom, "Boss, do you really not want this daughter?" Hank Bloom nodded. "Of course not. I've raised Bloom since she was little. When she becomes the Smith family's heiress, she'll definitely be good to me. As for this daughter in front of me, I don't care about her at all. Her existence will only bring trouble to Bloom, so it would be best if she never dared to show her face again, or if she couldn't live on and committed suicide. After hearing this, the thugs rubbed their hands together and approached me. With the situation developing like this, I was very nervous. I tugged at Ethan Carter next to me and looked at him pleadingly. Because Ethan Carter was tall and strong, and also the leader of the school's karate club, and had even participated in provincial competitions and achieved good results. I didn't dwell on Ethan Carter's inaction just now. I attributed his behavior to being frightened, so I said directly, "Carter, you help." But before I could finish speaking, Ethan Carter suddenly shook off my hand and walked directly to Tiffany Bloom's side. "Bloom, I knew you weren't an ordinary person." I was instantly stunned. "Ethan Carter, you." Ethan Carter rolled his eyes at me. "What? You don't think I really like you as a person, do you? I've been flirting with you just because your last name is Smith. The only person I like is Tiffany Bloom. Since you're really not the Smith family's heiress, then natural. Why I don't need to help you anymore." Seeing my ugly expression, Tiffany Bloom became even more smug. "No one will like a bitch like you. Everyone only likes your identity as Miss Smith. Too bad, your identity is fake too." Seeing that I kept staring at Ethan Carter, Tiffany Bloom continued, "Speaking of which, if it weren't for Carter, I really wouldn't have been able to discover that I was the Smith family's rightful heiress." Ethan Carter waved his hand. "Bloom, you can't say it's all my credit. It's mainly because you don't look like someone from the mountain town, or like Hank Bloom. And it just so happens that Abigail Abby Smith doesn't look like Mr. Smith either. How could that not make me overthink things?" Listening to Tiffany Bloom and Ethan Carter's words, I finally realized. It was all caused by Ethan Carter? It was because he thought I didn't look like my dad that he suspected I wasn't his biological daughter. Tiffany Bloom originally wanted to find a chance to get my and my dad's DNA to do a test, but couldn't find a suitable opportunity. It was also Ethan Carter who suggested that it would be enough to determine whether Tiffany Bloom and Hank Bloom were father and daughter. Looking at the Ethan Carter in front of me, I almost vomited blood from anger. Ethan Carter was very good to me. Although he came from a poor family, he was handsome and suave, had excellent grades, and was very popular at school. He was very respectful to me and always fulfilled my requests. He was almost the perfect boyfriend and husband candidate. I had even planned that after we confirmed our relationship, we would get married after graduation and let Ethan Carter enter my dad's company and inherit the family business with me. I looked at the intimate couple in front of me with an incredulous expression. Tiffany Bloom sneered, "That's why I said you're not the Smith family's rightful heiress. If you had even a little bit of brains, you would have realized that Carter and I are a couple." Although reason told me that surrendering at this moment was the best option, my upbringing since childhood made it impossible for me to bow my head. And looking at the two thugs that Tiffany Bloom had brought, I could easily imagine what the consequences would be if I surrendered now. I glanced at the clock next to me and shouted at the two thugs, "Get out of my way if you don't want to die." The two thugs were just petty gangsters. They were actually frightened by my words. I struggled to stand up. "The three of you are mentally ill. The reason my dad and I don't look alike is because I look exactly like my mom. There are so many photos at home. Are you blind and can't see them at all? I was originally thinking of not holding you responsible, but seeing you like this, I must make you pay the price. I will cancel all of your scholarships. Hank Bloom, you can get out too. I'm also calling the police and letting you rot in jail." After I said this, Tiffany Bloom almost went crazy. "Bitch, I originally just wanted to throw you out, but since you're so cheap, then I don't need to be so kind. You too, Abigail Abby Smith may be an impostor, but she's also a real beauty. This is your only chance to sleep with such a beautiful woman. If you can get her pregnant, you'll have descendants. Hank Bloom, hurry up and take out your phone and record it for me. I want to completely ruin Abigail Abby Smith's reputation so she can't live on. As soon as she finished speaking, the two thugs exchanged glances and approached me. I had nowhere to hide, but I was unwilling to be humiliated, so I climbed to the window and wanted to jump down. But before I could jump, Ethan Carter grabbed my leg. He threw me to the floor, and the two thugs pounced on me. I struggled desperately and didn't know how many times I was hit. Just when my clothes were about to be torn off, I completely lost the strength to resist. The door to the study was finally pushed open again, and my dad's scream came. "Stop! Stop!" My dad was almost scared to death. He took off his coat and wrapped it around me. It's okay, Daddy's here, Daddy's here." Then, in a trembling voice, he shouted at the bodyguards and the butler behind him, "Hurry up and call the family doctor to examine Abigail Abby Smith. Also, control all of these people and confiscate all their phones." With my dad as my backbone, I no longer needed to hold on and burst into tears. Anyone could see that my dad was really scared. He was a daddy's girl. Not long after I was born, he couldn't bear to let my mom have another child, and he didn't want other children to take away my love, so he got a vasectomy early on. After my mom passed away, he spoiled me even more. It's no exaggeration to say that for me, let alone letting my dad remain single, he would definitely not hesitate to take a bullet for me. The reason why I just spoke so harshly was not only because I couldn't help myself, but also because I knew my dad would be back to have lunch with me today. As long as I could delay even for a moment, I could be saved. Tiffany Bloom and the others didn't expect my dad to come home at this time, so they were instantly stunned. They were originally thinking that as long as they ruined me and recorded a video, I would either commit suicide out of shame or run away from home. Even if I shamelessly stayed at home, my dad would feel ashamed because of the video on the internet and would no longer love me. The two thugs who had just been pawing at me instantly went weak in the knees when they saw the valiant security guards. They knelt on the ground and cried, "It's a misunderstanding, it's a misunderstanding. We didn't do anything. This lady and boss gave us a few $1,000s and said we were here to play with women. Yeah, please, big boss, let us go." My dad was trembling with anger when he heard this. "Get these people too." Before he could finish speaking, Tiffany Bloom suddenly knelt on the ground. "Dad, I'm your daughter. How can you punish me for this impostor?" I admit that the punishment I gave the impostor was a little heavy, but you can see that she only has some bruises and no other injuries. Ethan Carter nodded. "Yes, Uncle Smith, it's all a misunderstanding." Hank Bloom also frowned. "Boss, Abigail Abby Smith brought it on herself." "Yes." Tiffany Bloom nodded righteously. "From the beginning, I was talking to her nicely. I just wanted to get back what was mine. I just wanted to be with my own father. Where did I go wrong? It was Abigail Abby Smith who said wild things to me, so I..." As she spoke, Tiffany Bloom felt wronged and started crying. "Besides, Abigail Abby Smith has taken everything from me. She lived a life of luxury while I suffered unspeakably. What's wrong with making her pay the price? Where did I go wrong?" My dad tried hard not to do anything, but he couldn't remember Tiffany Bloom's name after thinking for a long time. "Your name is Bloom. Tiffany Plum, right? I remember you're the scholarship student I'm funding, right? You brought people to beat my daughter, and you're still talking nonsense here, saying you're my daughter? When did I have a daughter like you? How come I don't know?" Tiffany Bloom's face darkened. "Dad, I'm Bloom. Look, this is a paternity test. I'm not talking nonsense." My dad didn't bother to look at the so-called paternity test. After all, he knew better than anyone how many children he had and who his children were. He just said coldly and impatiently, Did you call these people? Did you hurt Abigail Abby Smith? Tiffany Bloom didn't know how to answer. She was a little unsure whether to admit it or not. She was afraid that if she admitted it, my dad would think she was a bad person, so she looked at Hank Bloom and Ethan Carter for help. Hank Bloom immediately understood Tiffany Bloom's thoughts. His eyes darted around. No, it was me. I called these people. I'm Abigail Abby Smith's biological father. I just wanted to take her home and didn't want her to affect Bloom in your reunion, boss. Ethan Carter also quickly said, yes, that's right. We didn't plan to bully her or anything. We just wanted to take her away. She took off her own clothes. She's deliberately framing Tiffany Bloom. That's right, we're all witnesses, boss. Bloom is a good child, but this Abigail Abby Smith isn't. You don't know how arrogant she was just now. She doesn't acknowledge me as her biological father and even said bad things to me, so I couldn't help but lightly hit her. As a result, she went crazy and started causing trouble. This kind of daughter should be beaten. As he spoke, Hank Bloom thought for a moment. Of course, this has nothing to do with you, boss. It's all my responsibility. This Abigail Abby Smith is my daughter. It's my bad seed, and her dead mother passed on bad genes. Back then, Abigail Abby Smith's dead mother secretly switched Bloom, this good child, with Abigail Abby Smith, this bitch, causing Bloom to suffer for so many years, so she really deserves to be beaten. As he spoke, Hank Bloom actually boldly walked towards my dad and me. Mr. Smith, I'll take this dead girl Abigail Abby Smith away and teach her a good lesson. You and Bloom can have a good reunion. My dad also understood what had happened. He sneered repeatedly. Good. You're all very good. Seeing my dad smile, Tiffany Bloom and the others breathed a sigh of relief. Tiffany Bloom even turned from crying to smiling and said exaggeratedly, Dad, I really missed you. But the three of them misunderstood. My dad wasn't happy at all. He had been in business for so many years and had long since learned to hide his emotions. I had only seen him smile like this once since I was a child. It was when I was in middle school. My driver became addicted to gambling. In order to borrow money from my dad, he boldly kidnapped me and threatened my dad for $100 million. My dad agreed without thinking and immediately transferred the money to the driver. But the driver thought the money came too easily and felt that he had asked for too little. He refused to return me and raised the stakes, saying to my dad in the video, Mr. Smith, I've been thinking about it, and $100 million is still too little. I see that Miss Smith is so beautiful, and I meet her so often. We actually have a very good relationship, so although I've invited her to be a guest, she hasn't even broken her skin. So I've been thinking about it, and I don't want this $100 million anymore. I'll just force myself on her and become your son-in-law. After Miss Smith and I get married, you can give me the company. We'll be a family. What do you think? At that time, my dad in the video looked like this, smiling and saying, okay, very good. The driver thought my dad was a fool, but my dad somehow found the place where the driver and I were hiding. He descended like a god and rescued me. I saw the murderous intent in my dad's eyes and cried, asking my dad to think more about me and not to hurt anyone. My dad barely agreed and sent the driver to prison, but the driver still died inexplicably in prison. Tiffany Bloom was about to do something when the arrival of the family doctor interrupted her next action. Seeing that the family doctor wanted to examine me, Tiffany Bloom immediately stopped the doctor and said, Get out. You're our Smith family's family doctor. You don't need to treat this bitch with the last name Bloom. Hank Bloom also echoed, Yes, my daughter has a cheap life and isn't worth saving. It's best if she just dies like this. It's cleaner that way. The family doctor was instantly stunned and instinctively looked at my dad and me. My dad's smile disappeared, and he gestured to the bodyguards behind him. The bodyguards had been following my dad for more than 10 years, so they immediately knew what my dad intended to do. They kicked Tiffany Bloom away. Not only did they kick Tiffany Bloom away, but they also taught Ethan Carter, who wanted to resist, and Hank Bloom, who wanted to escape, a lesson. The bodyguards moved quickly. Ethan Carter and Hank Bloom didn't even have a chance to call for help, only continuously begged for mercy. Tiffany Bloom was kicked away and didn't recover for a long time. If the kick that Hank Bloom gave me just now was very painful, then this kick was 10,000 times more painful. Not only couldn't Tiffany Bloom get up, but she also spat out a mouthful of blood. Why? Dad, why are you doing this? I'm your daughter, your biological daughter. Is it just because Abigail Abby Smith is the one you raised that you think she's more important than me? I can accept it. I can allow her to still be in the Smith family and still be Miss Smith. I just want to come back to your side too, Dad. Why can't you even agree to this? My dad ignored Tiffany Bloom and picked me up, wanting to take me out of the study to the infirmary to get a good checkup. I knew why my dad didn't say anything. For my dad, Tiffany Bloom, Ethan Carter, and Hank Bloom were already dead people. Since they were dead people, there was naturally no need to explain anything. But Tiffany Bloom didn't understand my dad. She stubbornly crawled to the door. Dad, tell me clearly. Didn't you already know that I was your biological daughter? That's why you gave me a scholarship and arranged a job for Hank Bloom. Why won't you admit it? Is it because of that bitch Abigail Abby Smith? I get it. You already knew I was your daughter. You won't take me back and you even hit me. It must be because you have other thoughts about Abigail Abby Smith, right? It's okay. I can call her stepmother. I can admit that I was wrong, but Dad, you can't ignore me. My dad stepped over Tiffany Bloom and carried me away. Tiffany Bloom grabbed the family doctor again. You're a doctor. Hurry you. And do a paternity test for me and my dad. I'm the rightful heiress who was switched at birth. As long as you examine me, I'll give you money. The doctor was speechless. You really have a mental illness. I personally delivered Miss Smith in this mansion. How could there be a switching incident? There's even video footage of Miss Smith's birth at home. How could there be a switch in front of so many people? Do you think you're in a TV show? Tiffany Bloom saw that the doctor wasn't lying. She pointed to the paternity test institute on the ground. But my paternity test shows that my dad and I aren't related. The doctor was even more speechless. What does your mom's affair have to do with the Smith family? This result can only prove that you and your dad aren't related. According to your logic, all the men in the world could be your dad? Nonsense. Tiffany Bloom couldn't speak. I also fainted from excessive shock. When I was a child, I wasn't in good health. My dad not only studied medicine himself, but also moved the hospital directly into our home, so when I woke up, I wasn't in a hospital, but in my own bed. I moved and found that I wasn't in much pain, but I could feel that I was wrapped up tightly and it was difficult to move. My dad and the family doctor were standing by. Seeing that I woke up, my dad breathed a sigh of relief. How are you, Abigail Abby Smith? You scared Daddy to death. It's all my fault. I shouldn't have given scholarships to any students. Bad people come from poor places. The family doctor quickly examined me and asked if I felt any discomfort. Seeing that I was indeed okay, he said, Mr. Smith, you don't have to worry. You came at the right time. Miss Smith is fine. And we've already given Miss Smith a full body checkup and confirmed that they're all just bruises. She'll recover quickly and there won't be any damage. And you see, when you're sad, Miss Smith isn't happy either. My dad breathed a sigh of relief. It's good that you're okay. Otherwise, I really wouldn't know what to do. Abigail Abby Smith, you don't have to worry anymore. The two people who hurt you owed money to loan sharks. Many people outside are looking for them, so I gave them back to the loan sharks. The loan sharks have already guaranteed me that these two people will never appear in front of you, or anyone else, again. I gave a non-committal Those two were hateful, but they couldn't have gotten within a mile of me without someone telling them to. My dad obviously knew what I was thinking and quickly added, now, there are just these three left. I haven't dealt with them because I thought you might want to handle it yourself. Following my dad's gaze, I noticed Tiffany Bloom, Ethan Carter, and Hank Bloom kneeling not far away, all bruised and swollen. It seemed my dad wanted to wait for me to deal with them personally. The three of them visibly sighed in relief when they heard I was okay. It's no exaggeration to say they were even happier than my dad. If they weren't tied up, they probably would have jumped for joy. I sat up. Hank Bloom was the first to speak. He stammered, crawling forward on his knees. Miss Smith, it's all a misunderstanding. We really didn't mean for any of this to happen. Please, forgive us. You're so kind, so good. The last time I was sick, you were kind enough to find a doctor for me. I've been beaten too, and I'm hurt worse than you are, many times over. We know we were wrong. Please forgive us. Hank Bloom kowtowed repeatedly as he spoke, a far cry from the person who had previously shouted about being my real father and teaching me how to behave. If you have to blame someone, blame Tiffany Bloom. It has nothing to do with me. Before I could say anything, Tiffany Bloom couldn't help but interject, Miss Smith, I was just too jealous of you. Mr. Smith is so good to you, but my dad never treated me like a human being. And it just so happened that Mr. Smith was so friendly to me, and you and I were born at the same time, and the DNA test results were what they were. I just jumped to conclusions. I couldn't help but scoff. Yeah, my dad and I were so good to you, and this is how you repay us. You repay kindness with malice, yet you expect me not to pursue your mistakes. Don't you think that's ridiculous? Tiffany Bloom cried even harder, unsure whether it was from physical pain or emotional distress. Besides, you have your birth video. Why didn't you say so earlier? If you had told us, if you had shown us the video, how could I not have believed it? How could I have done this to you? You bear some responsibility for this too. My dad made a gesture for Tiffany Bloom to shut up, then looked at me. Sweetheart, what do you want to do? I'll support whatever you decide. I didn't hesitate. Don't let them off easy. Why repay evil with good? Whatever happens to them, they deserve it. Dad nodded and signaled to the bodyguards to drag them away. Tiffany Bloom stammered, what are you going to do to us? I'm telling you, this is America, a country of laws. If you dare kill us, you won't get away with it either. Hank Bloom, though trembling with fear, also spoke up. Yeah, our lives are cheap, but if you kill us, you'll be breaking the law and face the death penalty. It's not worth dying for us. I smiled. Kill you? Are you kidding me? Your worthless lives aren't worth my dad and I getting our hands dirty. So, I won't kill you. I'm just going to send you abroad because I never want to see you again. Tiffany Bloom and Hank Bloom were stunned for a moment, seemingly not expecting me to be so lenient. Which country? It's not India, is it? I shook my head. Since you don't like India, you can tell me which countries you do like, and I'll try to arrange it for you. Tiffany Bloom thought for a moment. America, South Korea, England, Spain, France, anything works. I nodded. I can see it's a tough choice, but don't worry, I can send you all together. Simultaneously. You'll definitely be very happy. How often do ordinary people get to live in so many countries at once? As soon as I said this, Hank Bloom didn't react, but Tiffany Bloom understood. You're going to dismember us, aren't you? Why, you're going to sell their organs. I didn't deny it but laughed inwardly. Crazy people, my dad and I are such good people. How could we do such a thing? Saying this was just to scare them. There's no way I would break the law for these three. It's not worth it. But that scared Ethan Carter half to death. Abby, listen to me, those two deserve it, but I'm innocent. Ethan Carter cried, Abby, I've always liked you. It was Tiffany Bloom who deliberately seduced me. I was just temporarily blinded. She threatened me with photos of her and me, saying that if I didn't give her this chance, she would ruin my reputation and make you leave me too. I was just too in love with you to be manipulated by her. Besides, I saved you once, don't you remember? You were going to jump out the window, and if it weren't for me, you would have been seriously injured from falling from the third floor. I saved your life. You can't repay kindness with evil. I didn't refute him but pondered, if what you said is true. Ethan Carter screamed, it's true, truer than gold. Let me go, and you can dismember them. I'll keep the secret. That's not true. Tiffany Bloom, of course, couldn't accept Ethan Carter throwing mud at her, especially since this was a matter of life and death. Tiffany Bloom, with snot and tears streaming down her face, said to me, Miss Smith, he's the one who told us to do all this. He said you didn't look like Mr. Smith, and that I looked like Mr. Smith, and that I was better than you, saying you were pretending to be pure or something. He even arranged the time for me to come to your place. Hank Bloom also cried, I'm the innocent one. The daughter isn't mine, and I lost my job. Now I'm going to lose my life. I didn't do anything. I hit you just now, but that was for your own good. I was afraid you wouldn't survive after offending the rightful heiress. I didn't really want to hurt you. I was originally planning to take you back to my hometown and take care of you. You have to believe me. The three of them spoke over each other, biting and clawing at each other like stray dogs, until I was tired of watching and had enough. I had my dad kick them out. After that, I never saw the three of them again. After I had my dad kick them out that day, I didn't make things difficult for them. Instead, I told them, I think two of you are innocent, and we plan to call the police and only catch the mastermind. So, we'll give you 3 days to identify a mastermind and then turn yourself in. As long as you turn yourself in, we'll pretend nothing happened. If you can't do that, then I can only send you on a trip abroad. After hearing this, the three of them naturally started biting and clawing at each other again. In the end, Ethan Carter was the first to eliminate the mastermind's suspicion due to his absolute physical strength. Before long, Hank Bloom, the man who had been wearing a green hat for over 20 years, also gained the upper hand. Ethan Carter, feeling that he had lost the opportunity to become a son-in-law of a wealthy family, joined forces with Hank Bloom to beat Tiffany Bloom beyond recognition, wanting her to turn herself in. Tiffany Bloom knew that if she went to jail, her life would be over, but there was nothing she could do. She hated me but hated Ethan Carter and Hank Bloom even more. So, she outwardly agreed to turn herself in, but secretly put poison, e.g., pesticide or similar substance, in their food. To make them suffer more, I even kindly gave them money for treatment. They spent the most painful half-month in the hospital before finally dying in tears, but I didn't think I was cruel because they brought it all on themselves. I was good to each of them, but they didn't appreciate it. After this incident, my dad, against my objections, directly arranged for 4 bodyguards for me. Now, not only would no one try to beat the mistress or beat the fake heiress for no reason, but even if I encountered some desperate criminals, nothing would happen to me. A little guilty. Corey Grant is hosting something tonight. Want to go together? I leaned back. So that's what she was waiting for. I'm not going, I said deliberately. Why doesn't he ask me himself? Stella Summers shook my arm and acted cute. He promised to bring Chris Edwards too. I suddenly understood. Chris Edwards was the amusement park designer and Corey Grant's good friend. It seemed like Stella Summers had something going on. Okay, for the sake of my sister's happiness, I'll sacrifice myself. 16. The gathering that night was on a yacht. Everyone knew each other, and the group had a lively time. I leaned against the railing on the deck, looking at the sea and sky. Suddenly, the sea breeze blowing towards me stopped. That's when I realized someone was standing next to me. I turned my head, and it was Corey Grant. The end. Cribbable feeling welled up in my heart, and I hugged the boy tightly. Thank you, Aunt loves you. My mother came over with a smile and led Lucas Harrington and his grandson to their seats. Amidst everyone's applause, Louis Jr. kissed my lips. I thought that with him by my side on my life's journey, it would surely be incredibly wonderful. The end.